John Zool with the Engearment.com podcast. Got a fun episode for you. I bet this will be about half an hour because I've got so much to cover. So if that's a deal breaker for you or you need to get a beverage, then strap in. I've got 3 waters here. A lot to cover. Let's start at the beginning. I just got back from a backpacking trip with Verde Media, and they are a PR company for MSR, Platypus, Thermarest, Cascade Designs in general, Gregory backpacks, Royal Robbins. So this was a lot of fun. This is the most fun I've had on a media event thing yet, and I hope to do a lot more of these. I want to give a big thanks to Sienna for organizing this, and for Jenna for her hard work putting this together, and to Kevin for being awesome as always to work with and being a great trail partner. I had not backpacked in 8 years. We used to backpack all the time, but for when we got the second dog, Chloe, I had a lot more gear, and I just didn't make plans to go backpacking. Camping every week for sure, but not backpacking. So this was a really nice foray to get back into that activity. And it's an ass kicker. I'm still sore. My calves are sore. I got back 2 days ago. God, time's flying by so much. But it was a fun event. So we met up in Netherlands, which is just north of Boulder. Got outfitted head to toe with gear. In fact, I'll get the backpack and show you real quick. And of course, we'll have reviews on all this stuff. This is, what is this? This is a Gregory 70-liter backpack right here. We got MSR poles, Gregory bladder in there, MSR tent, the Mother Hubba one person, Thermarest sleeping bag and sleeping pad as well, and then backpacker's pantry food. We didn't eat that though. We didn't eat backpacking food. This is something my good friend and our fellow Engearment colleague Steven Starks. He's a chef, and I've mentioned that several times. He cooks really good food. So we did backpacking right. We did bougie backpacking. I think we had 10, maybe 15 pounds of meat. We had Korean style barbecue thanks to Steven. He grilled up Korean barbecue, did hot pots. We had tons and tons of noodles and veggies. The longest beans I've ever seen. I was like, what are those, like super long green beans? And he's like, no bro, those are long beans. Like I should know that, Steve. But man, we had a good old time. But backpacking up an extra 15 pounds of food in my pack for one night, it was hard. I overpacked for sure. I bring batteries and camera equipment and more stuff than a person would do on a backpacking trip. So I made the sufferfest myself. The Type 2 fun is 100% my doing to myself. But it was fun. It was a 10-mile round trip. We go up and over 2,000 feet on a pass and then down into this valley. It was beautiful. I'll put some pictures in the write-up here soon. Time of my life. I never take time off of works to do this. I took a whole Monday off. I've not taken a whole Monday off in a long time. And if you don't know, outside of Engearment, this is not necessarily a paid gig. It takes a lot of time, a lot of resources. And my other full-time occupation is I'm a coach here in Denver at a gym called Existential Athletics. And I coach full-time, 30 plus hours a week. And I love it. I train people to go do these activities that we talk about, backpacking, hiking, backcountry skiing, splitboarding, fishing, biking, equestrian, everything, outdoors, the Colorado lifestyle. That's my sign right there, Colorado personal fitness, training for the Colorado lifestyle. That's what we do. And a lot of my clients or students are also Engearment writers. So I get to work with them, train, and then we get to talk about the gear they're using, and it's a lot of fun. So it all works together. And what I've noticed in the outdoor gear world is a lot of people have multiple jobs, and I wish that the outdoor industry was more share more of the wealth. I think the third largest industry is like real estate, medical, and then outdoor recreation. And we did an article on this like 7 or 8 years ago. It's in the top 3 things, at least it was several years ago. So I'm just wondering, where's that money going? It's not going to us, that's for sure. No, this is not paid stuff. But that being said, it was fun to share on the trail like what everybody does outside of this, and learn what their hobbies are. And on trail you get a lot of time with each other, and it's moral support too. You can't. I was not able to walk and talk at the pace I wanted to. I'm carrying a 50-something pound pack and huffing and puffing because I've not done this activity in 8 years. Also just coming off of a foot surgery. Haven't really done anything more than an hour's worth of cardiovascular activity to all of a sudden do 5 hours straight with weight was a nice challenge, I'll say the least. But on the trail, I got to meet some really fun people. This media event that we were on, it was only 10 people total, and we got invited. And I wanted to invite more people from Engearment, but there wasn't enough time, or wasn't enough space on the permit. And so there's 3 people from Verde, Kevin, Jenna, and Sienna, to organize the event. And then on the trip were some pretty big people. CNN, Kai from CNN was there. And then gentleman from Gear Junkie, and then Adam from Backpacker Magazine. So great to meet them and people in the fellow industry. And I subscribed to Backpacker for years, and just amazing. I had to pinch myself that we get to work with these companies like behind the scenes and test stuff out. And then 2 other independent journalists. One really funny guy, and he was there for the first part of the day and hiked back down. Fat Man Little Trail, I believe is his handle on Instagram. Really fun guy, really nice guy. And then Josh, he's an independent journalist as well as a teacher at Waldorf School in Boulder. So just making great connections and hanging out. And then, like I mentioned, my friend Steven Starks was the chef. So Steven and I from Engearment. So we had a big presence. We were, a third of the media on this trip. So Steve and I had a great time hanging out and cooking up food and feeding people and letting loose. It was a beautiful hike. Like I mentioned, it kicked my butt. I think it was a 4th of July trail, and we went to Caribou Lake. But you have to have a permit. Don't just show up there and try and backpack and camp. You will not be successful in that, and it is illegal. So make sure you get your permits for this kind of stuff. So, but on this trip, we were testing out gear that might be out. Some of it probably won't be out for a while. It was 2023 or 24 stuff. But we were cooking on MSR stoves. They have a new lineup of cookware coming out. I think I can mention this, like some titanium cookware. We have Scarpa shoes. Although I haven't really worn shoes that much, so I half the time wore the Scarpa shoes, and the other half wore those Bedrock Karen sandals that we did review on that I love so much. And interestingly, the person that turned me on to him was Kevin, and he was wearing his the entire trip. And on this trip, it hailed on us several times, quite a bit of grapple, which is tiny little pellet hail. Wind, 60 mile an hour winds. It was blowing me over. I'm 215 pounds with a 50-pound pack, and I was getting blown over on the ridge line. But he was rocking his Bedrock sandals up until probably about 9 o'clock when he finally asked for a pair of socks to keep his feet warm because it was raining. I mean, we got all 4 seasons in this trip. That's Colorado. That's why we love it so much. So a lot to look forward to on that. Made great connections. I mean, hanging out with CNN, Backpacker, and Gear Junkie, and the other journalists. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Look forward to doing more of these. Okay, I'm going to try and catch you up since the last episode. The last episode of the podcast was, I think, my favorite ever. I got to be a fly on the wall while some geniuses and leaders in the barefoot running world shared a lot of knowledge. And just as I pushed end, I asked a question, and it wasn't on camera. I wish it was, because it ignited a fury of awesome discussion. So we're going to have to do a round 2. Everybody signed up to do it. So without further ado, I'll tell you all about it. We had Steven Soshin, the founder of Zero Shoes. We have a lot of articles and reviews on Zero Shoes. My first pair of minimalist shoes was a Zero shoe. It was a do-it-yourself kit. You measure your foot and cut out and you make your Huaracha sandals. And I remember going and meeting Steven, I think over 10 years ago, to make those shoes together. And he's a hoot. And he gets his inspiration from his friends, Eric Orton, the trainer for Born to Run, and the author of Born to Run, Christopher McDougall, and Born to Run 2. So we talked a lot about those books, and we, it's like a very meta conversation on the why and the how that came about, the book and the inspiration for barefoot running and what it means to them. And then I asked the question that I'll tell you here now off camera that I wished I asked on camera, but it would have been another hour discussion. It was, what tools do you use to train to do your barefoot running and hiking. And have you ever used a kettlebell? And have you heard of Pavel? And they lit up, especially Eric. He actually had a book of Pavel's. He was able to, within a second, grab a book, Pavel's Power to the People. So then we got talking about kettlebells and single leg deadlifts and a whole bunch of stuff. So on part 2 of the Engearment podcast with those gentlemen, we're going to talk about how to train for barefoot running and best mechanics. So that will be like a very applicable knowledge bomb. And it's all thanks to Wil Rickards. He threw this pitch out there a few months ago, asked if he can host an episode of the Engearment podcast, and he did such good work coordinating with everybody's busy schedules, getting Christopher McDougall in Hawaii lined up with Eric Orden up in Jackson Hole, and then Stevens over here in Colorado. And it was a lot of fun watching Wil put that together. And he had great outline questions, whereas I'm just basically, I push record, make sure there's audio, and I wing it, as you can probably tell. So here we go, winging it. Since that recording, we had a little thing called OMA in the middle, Outdoor Market Alliance. It's my favorite trade show. I will go on record saying that. It's just, we cover so much, and all the cool companies are there, and they're so fun to work with. We hit that show so flippin' hard. We had 7 or 8 of us. We had Wil and Cai Rickards as one crew, Michael Clemente. Awesome man. Love Michael. He's so good at this. And Steven Starks, yep, the chef from the camping trip. Steven was there. And myself, I think, was that it? Yeah, I think that was it. 6 of us or 7 of us. And we're just teams of 2, divide and conquer every 15 minutes, new interview. That's why I apologize if it, was a bit too much, but we had a lot of videos to put up, had a lot of meetings. So I'm gonna try and keep it to just 50, because I only have 50 on my screen for YouTube right here. XBED. We met with XBED, and we went over their new line of, and this, when I say new, this is not stuff you can go out and buy from most of these brands. This is stuff to look forward to in 2024, in the spring. Some stuff will be out this fall, but most will be next year, about this time next year. Maybe earlier. This is almost fall of 23. I don't even know what year it is anymore. XBED Spring 24 gear. They have a new automotive designed mega mats that will fit kind of contour to, say, a Forerunner, stuff like that, with a wool topper and removable blanket, which is great. And I love working with XBED. They make such well-engineered stuff. And it was so fun to walk into this meeting and a lot of the meetings, and people were not just like, hey, Sean, how's it going? They're like, dude, your video really helped us design this next thing, or your product, review helped us understand where the customer is coming from. One of my things was, having or had 2 dogs sleeping on these mats. It gets pretty hairy, so kind of hard to clean. So a removable blanket. So it's kind of fun to see feedback, and perhaps feedback that you may leave in comments on our videos. They get read, and they get read not just by me, but they get read by these companies. And so you may have a part in helping improve a product for yourself and for others in the future. So please leave good comments and ask good questions, because we'll do our best to answer them, and it might benefit. Case in point, XBED. So boom, right there. Love XBED stuff. Such good stuff. Then we met with Arcteryx. Yes, Deadbird, to go over some fall 23 stuff for running. Did they send over the shoes? They're going to send over the shoes in the video, as well as the Alpha jacket. So of course, we love working with Arcteryx. It's just, they're the best. Whenever they do something that's just so dang good. Not much more to say about it. It's Arcteryx. Cascade Designs, that would be MSR, Mountain Safety Research, Thermarest, Platypus, oh my god, MSR, Thermarest, Platypus, and Gregory backpacks, which we all use in the backpacking trip, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. So a lot of that gear is in that video. They have a new bikepacking lineup too, which is cool. Nomadics, they make really nice towels, like pack towels, like a pack towel. And they gave us a couple bandana style ones for Chloe dog, so she can keep dry. Outdoor Research, I love OR. I think it's the best value for quality out there. Hands down. I'd recommend it for anyone doing anything. Derek Toshner used Outdoor Research gear on his trip to Denali. That's a harsh environment, as well as his routes up Grand Teton. So we get to go through some other stuff that's available right now. And then one sip of water here. La Sportiva, Sean does a great job. Not me, Sean. Sean, the PR person, does a great job going through the Summit boot, which is out. I think it will be out soon, which would be a great boot for alpine missions. It's really cool design. Then he goes over some Spring 24 stuff, and I cannot show you, but there's a box right there full of it, of La Sportiva shoes in the video that we're going to be testing, so stay tuned for that. Gregory, this one was so fun. So Becca is one of my favorite people to work with in the outdoor gear world. She actually gave me a ride. Her and her partner Alex and their dog Wiley gave Steven and I a ride to the trailhead, hauling ass in her Subaru on this 4-mile dirt road, telling stories about getting robbed in New York City and stuff. Just having fun. She didn't get robbed. I got robbed a long time ago. It all worked out fine. It's just a misunderstanding, I guess. That's a whole nother story for a campfire. But Gregory did a great job of creating this line of packing gear called the Alpaca packing system. So it's a bunch of hard-sided cases and bags and accoutrement that goes together to make a nice system. Really cool, really dug it. And they had a wheelie cart that compacts up. They had one open and one compacted in a bag. And my wife and I have a Costco cart, we call it, because we got it from Costco, and we use it to haul stuff around. And I was like, whoa, that is like a really burly Costco cart. My wife would love that. And so Becca was like, well, then just take it. Like, you're going to do the review before anybody else, just take the dang thing. So I took it off the showroom and loaded it full of gear at OMA and just wheel it out of there. And then a sidebar. Then I used it this weekend for our, we had a beach party at our reservoir here in Denver to celebrate 10-year anniversary of Existential Athletics, which is where I coach. I'm not too sure if you know this, but yes, I run Engearment. That is a full-time job, but I also am a coach. That is a full-time job, and I coach out of Existential Athletics. It's a premier gym, and I'm not saying premier as like flashy. I'm just saying premier as in respected international gym. We host Strong First events there. It's vet-owned, minority-owned, and we have no AC, and we're proud of it. We have a ice bath and back, and a sweat tent, and a lot of weights, a lot of kettlebells, and it's just, that's the way we like it. We're hosting some Strong First events there, another segue. Derek Toshner, fellow Engearment rider and team leader for Strong First, will be hosting his all-terrain conditioning in September. So 1 month from now, he will be here in Denver hosting that, and I'll be doing the audio video presenting that for you guys. And then in 2 weeks, my mentor, Doc Hartle, will be here for the Strong First Lifter, SFL, the barbell certification. And then in October, I'm going down to Phoenix to work with Brett Jones for the Teachers of Strength. Yeah, Brett Jones, right? For the Teachers of Strength. And I was just on a Zoom with Joanna, coordinating the next weekend. And then that Friday will be Teachers of Strength, and Saturday and Sunday will be open to the public for the Programming Demystify with Fabio Zonin, Hector Gutierrez, and of course Pavel Tatsulin. So I will be working with all those gentlemen to set up international presentation using all the stuff that you see here, the cameras, the microphones. Oh, we got these crazy microphones. Don't know if I can show you these yet. But yeah, you can put your logo on them. So I'm going to put Strong First on here, and of course I'll put Engearment on there when I'm not doing the Strong First stuff. But yeah, there you go. I don't even know what this is. It just came in 2 hours ago. So we're going to do a comparison between that and, oh gosh, the Holy Land Lark Max, and of course against the DJI and the Rode. Using the Rode right now, and use a DJI when we're running and gunning outside. I'm going to lose my voice. This is going to be like a half-hour episode. Oh, all right. Coaching, Existence, great gym, training facility. You're welcome to come by if you want to. There's a coffee roaster and coffee shop in back, and there's the Dumb Friends League, the Pound, the dog rescue is next door too. So if you're in town and you want to learn, you want to get coached, you want to get a dog and a cup of coffee, we got you covered. All right, back to the OMA meetings. Oh, and I used the heck out of that Gregory Costco cart for our anniversary. Love it. Stay tuned for a review on that. Toad & Company, a bunch of cool clothes, of course. Oboes, footwear. We got that. Cool. Oh my God. Cool was the coolest. No joke intended. We roll up in there, and our friend Rachel, she's doing PR for them, and she's just great to work with. Such a sweetheart. Ryan Humphries and I. Oh yeah, Ryan Humphries. my bro, my fellow, the owner of the gym, owner of Existence, Engearment teammate. He was with me the first day. We were going so fast, as you can tell. Ryan was there. He's on camera on a lot of the meetings. He and Rachel have a good time on the Cool interview, going over some cool clothing. And then, did you know Cool makes chocolate? It's good. And you probably knew that because if you've been to a Cool store, they have it. But did you know Cool has their own wine? Yeah, a Chianti. So I went home with not only that Gregory cart, but I got a bottle of wine from Cool, and I drank the hell out of it with my wife, and it was delicious. So thank you, Cool, for being so cool to work with. We had a fun time trying not to say cool in the Cool interview. We're like, how many other ways can you say cool? We found a lot. All right. Think I talk fast? This next guy talks 10 times faster and covers more information and is more articulate than I am. I met with Loa. So Ben over there at Loa PR goes through in like 6 minutes what should have been half an hour presentation. And then on the other side of this wall, I have a box of those shoes in the video, so stay tuned for the reviews. Farm to Feet, socks, Ignite, cookware and camping stuff. The Michael Clemente talks to the founder of Ignite, which is pretty sweet, Jeremy. Appalachian Gear Company. A lot of people ask about Appalachian Gear Company because I did a review on some Alpaca clothing, and I wore that on our trip as well. Appalachian Gear Company uses Alpaca as well, and it's made in the U.S. with pretty sweet stuff. Steven Starks actually was wearing their gear on the backpacking trip. Gordini gloves, although now they make socks. And so I did a video about 2 months ago on their socks and their new technology, and it was so fun when we went to the Gordini meeting. We walked in and they were using our video that we shot right here in our studio to explain the socks. So somehow I became the spokesperson for Gordini socks at the OMA, and it wasn't intentional, but it was like a Twilight Zone. You walk in and you're on TV talking about socks that are in front of you. Mind blown. Anyways, good time. Gordini makes good stuff. And my friend, our colleague, Raphael Peace, amazing environmentalist, splitboarder advocate. His last movie was with Jeremy Jones, the one and only Jeremy Jones. Yeah, he's in a Teton Gravity research movie with Jeremy. Raphael Peace, designed some gloves for Gordini, and I think I can mention that. If not, I am, and they are good gloves. So stay tuned for reviews on those. Black Diamond, oh my gosh. Yeah, they let loose. We had to bleep out a lot of stuff. It was the end of the day and second day, and Wil and John and Marielle get into it, and this is so funny. We actually did a blooper reel on that discussion. But Black Diamond makes such good stuff. I love their tents. Like, I think they're the best single wall tents out there. On our honeymoon, for our wedding registry, the gift I asked for that nobody got me, that I got myself, was a Black Diamond bomb shelter tent, and I love that tent. I had the Awahani, Highlight. I like single wall tents for a lot of applications. Long story, much longer. Black Diamond sent over some gear that Derek Toshner, yes, the Derek Toshner from Strong First team leader, also Engearment alumni, went up to Denali and used, as well as on the Grand Teton. So those reviews will be up next week. Ortavox, we went with Ortavox, fantastic wool clothing, backcountry gear, Beacon Probe shovel, just great stuff. Deuter, I never say it right, but that's who we met with. Deuter backpacks. So Kai did that one. Kai is the son of Wil. Kai's stud, just graduated high school. Very smart kiddo. Then he does also Dragon Alliance. So it's so cool to see him branching out and owning these interviews. And Dragon Alliance makes great optics. We did a review a year ago on a pair of shades. They had contrast enhancing technology in them. So we got that interview going. Scarpa, Dave Simpson, great to work with. Goes over Scarpa with Wil Rickards. Helly Hansen, very established company. Good to go over that with Wil. Mountain Hardware, which when I was first starting out, like that was like the company I wanted to get gear from. I think that they symbolize what I wanted in gear, whether it was the clothing or the backpack or the tent. And now we get to work with them, and I'm so excited about that. So get to go walk through that with Wil. Buff, the neck buffs and stuff like that. Buff is, they make really good sun protection. They actually did a fishing trip with our colleague Modest Yahoo last summer. Had a great time with that. The National Forest Foundation. Thule. So a great interview with Austin over at Thule. She's very sweet, very good to work with. They sent over their biggest rooftop tent like 2 weeks ago, and I feel so bad because it's in my garage. I just had to get my free spirit off so I can get the Thule on, and I need a second person to help me out with that. So I'm trying to find a strong neighbor to help me put that up, but I'll have a review on the Thule, is it Ascent? Whatever the biggest fold-out Thule tent there is, we're going to review here soon. There's more than this. I'm skipping ahead of some of these. Coleman Cascade 3-in-1 stove. Actually, this review I've done using the stove all summer. Basically, it's like the stove that the green double burner stove that you probably owned or your parents owned and used. It's the new and improved version of it. The dials are even more, have more finesse. It's nice and streamlined. And then, oh my God, how did I forget Mystery Ranch? Yeah, already met with Mystery Ranch. Yeah, I love Mystery Ranch. So let me pull that Mystery Ranch up. Mystery Ranch is so fun to work with. I love working with them. They make such good stuff. And in that video, every backpack that they are talking about for Spring 24, I actually have right now. And I've been using for the last 2 months. I have reviews shot for them. They stumbling because I'm so excited. I can't believe we get to work with them to prototype stuff. These are such prototypes. There's only like 2 or 3 of these backpacks in the world. So I'm sending them back to Mystery Ranch so they can give them to Backpacker or Outsider or Men's Journal next so they can review them. But usually if we sweat in something, they'd let us keep it. So whoever gets those is going to have a sweaty backpack. Osprey, speaking of backpacks. Man, the guy from Osprey, Connor, nailed it. Somebody needs to hire him to talk about other things too because he's so good at this. Goes over the Solodin Pro, which is a avalanche deploy backpack, and Glade, the kind of slack country, although I hate the word slack country. It's either inbounds or it's out of bounds. If it's out of bounds, you got to treat it as such. So anyways, get off my soapbox for a second. But the Glade looks like a nice backpack. And then he goes over some other stuff from Osprey coming out that looks really, really cool. What else can I tell you about? I met with YouTube. I had a virtual meeting with YouTube and broke the thing that we're testing for them. Not that it's a new thing and I can't talk about because I had to sign a NDA. But it's so cool to have a meeting with YouTube and there's a live stream inside of YouTube so people can tune in to see what I was doing to test their thing and how I broke it and how they could fix it. That's about as vague as I can leave it. And then the next meeting I had was with GoPro, and I broke their thing too. I can't tell you what it is, but I broke it. And they use Notion to communicate, and I like email, text, phone call, in person. I hate Slack, Trello, Asana, Notion. But anyways, they use Notion, and I get so many alerts from them about this thing I'm trying to help them with that I can't tell you about yet. Anywho, where is that going? Mystery Ranch. Oh yeah, so I can't tell you what they are. You'll see in the video, but when I get the okay to put the videos up on the dedicated reviews, you will see the Scree, the Galligator, and the other one, the ultralight backpack. Ice Mule Jaunt, our Jonka is recycled. Been using that for a year, finally got the review up on that. Derek Toshner has a fantastic review on his MSR Lightning Ascent shoes that he used on Denali, as well as I think he did on Rainier. Yeah, so he does a great, helpful review from his backyard. His backyard looks like it is an obstacle course. It's crazy. You got to watch the video at least just for that and to hear Derek talk. He's a great teacher. Mir sent over like everything, every new thing. So I have a review up on the Aero Flask, which I usually have right here on my desk for nightcap. But I took that on the backpacking trip, and that was a hit because we drank all the booze. All of us drank all the booze, and we ran out. And I had a flask, 8-ounce flask, and so I was able to share with everybody for last drink of the night. Bahio Stiltsville sunglasses, good stuff. Bahio, great optics, USA-made sunglasses. I think it's the 5th review we've done with them. Really like their shades. These are the fisherwoman's sunglasses. Gotta check them out. And then Varney. I knew how to say it for a week. It's not Varney, I know that. Viarne sent over the 2024 Olympics sunglasses. Yeah, so you're going to see these sunglasses on the athletes in 2024. But I have them right here. Do I have them right here? Nope, that's the Bahio. Here we go. If you're watching the video, you're going to be in for a treat. Check these out. Look at those glacier glasses, and they got the Olympics on the side there. Yeah, so there they are. The Viarne Ice is the model. Olympics sunglasses. Quite a treat. And then on the sun, how did we do 3 days in a row of sunglasses from different brands? Ryan Humphries, owner of Existence, my brother, does the Zeal Cumulus sunglasses. And then a review 3 years in the making, the GCI Outdoor Slim Fold Cook Station. I'm so sorry, GCI. I owe you this review from like 3 summers ago, but I have it up now, and it's got a lot of use. So that's up. And then Derek's got another one that went up today, the 9th. Yeah, outdoor research gloves that he used on Denali. So the thin gloves, the mittens, and everything he used on Denali. He does a great job explaining what the purpose was and how they worked, what he liked about them. He also has a review that I'm editing up for the Thermarest -20 polar sleeping bag that he used. And then, of course, his black diamond gear. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably be up the next week or two. I have to just touch up a few things I get to. Try and walk you through the process of what I do over here. So the riders, my friends, my teammates, my colleagues go out and they test the gear. They write an article, oftentimes, and or they'll do a video to show you how it works. Sometimes one or the other, sometimes both. And so they'll send them over, usually like Dropbox, send them over the video. And then I just kind of make sure the audio was boosted a little bit. Then I add the intro and make sure I put the name in there and the product. Real simple editing. I'm not doing anything like DaVinci or Final Cut. I'm using flipping iMovie. But it gets the job done. And, as long as the audio sounds good and it's not too much wind and the message is coming through, talking about the stuff, everybody's happy. So that's what we do. And I want to make sure that I give a lot more credit than I have been giving. I talk a lot about YouTube, but the real basis of what we started as Engearment was a website. And then we sometimes made a video to show how the thing worked as part of the article. That was it. And my colleague Kate Agathon has been here the longest. She is, out of 50 riders, she's number 2. So when I started this company, 9 years ago with my friend Dave Marcus, it was just Dave and I, and then we brought on Elena, and she hung out for about a year or so, and then we brought on Kate. Kate came to us from, I believe, Gear Junkie, and Kate and I met for a hamburger, and she was a DJ like I was, and we hit it off right away and built a great friendship. And she has been the longest rider with Engearment. She is the doctor of Stoke. I let each rider make up their own title. I'm the director of Stoke. I don't know why the chief. I don't think of an org chart. I own the company. I run it. But I just like making up goofy names. Aaron Rose is the gear destroyer. Wil Rickards is the professor. It's just fun. We're just having fun, right? She is a doctor because she has a doctorate of Stoke. And Kate does the best write-ups. On Engearment.com, I know I always mention on these recaps the YouTube because that's what I do and what's the screen I have up. But Engearment.com is where we started. That's our website. And the majority of articles are written by Kate. She's a real journalist and just a real good person. And I need to give her more credit on these things because I forget to look at her website, which is Engearment.com. It's flipping right there. So Kate, you're the best. Love you. Kate does a lot of biking. Her and her partner Paul live in Summit County, which would basically be like Silverthorne or Dillon. It's a mountain community, really, really pretty up there. So she does a lot of biking. She just recently did the Copper Triangle, which is like an 80-plus mile 3-pass race. And she uses Pearl Izumi. She got the Pearl Izumi Attack air bibs. She does a fantastic review with Kuat Piston Pro X. That's the really bougie, awesome bike rack, and she has the official review for it, for Kuat. It's a nice bike rack, by the way. Sportful Bibs, and her partner, Paul, who's just an awesome guy as well, did the Smith Ruckus sunglasses. Excuse me. And Paul's come on this year as a rider. He's just awesome. Great guy. Devin's everywhere. She is the Energizer Bunny. She's also a fellow coach at Engearment fellow Engearment colleague, but fellow coach at Existential Athletics. She literally, I have a lot of energy. Devin has twice as much energy as I do. She has 2 reviews up on 2 different boat inflatable stand-up paddle boards. So she has a comparison of those boards, as well as comparison using it in the ocean in California, as well as in lakes here in Colorado. I think we got you caught up. Wow. Oh, I got one more review. It goes up the 11th. And this is pretty fun. The BioLite base charge 1500 power station. I feel like in the last year or two, we've gotten into a new space of gear that I use often. I use power stations to charge our refrigerator, Dometic at the moment, although we have 2 other fridges coming that are much cheaper than the Dometic. So stay tuned for that. I just replied to your email this morning. And solar panels to power them. And then there's a lot of power stations out there. So we work with Goal Zero and other brands. So we're going to have a lot more of that stuff coming up. And it's kind of fun because it's outdoor gear. I mean, I use it for my overlanding setup and charging drones and whatever other electronics. And then we've kind of become like wireless microphone people. I sent all kinds of microphones to test, like 6 pair right there. So it's kind of fun getting to review the gear we use to review the gear. You know what I'm saying? Like the camera stuff. We get to work with GoPro. Hoping to work with DJI. That would be flipping awesome. Make that happen. Write that down. DJI. Okay, make that happen. Anywho, I've taken up over half an hour every time, which is twice as long as usual, but there was twice as much stuff to cover. Yeah, backpacking with MSR and Thermarest, OMA with like 100 meetings, Derek Toshner going to Denali on offering his insight on the gear he used, Devin going out to California testing a bunch of boats, Kate out there biking it up, Paul biking with her, testing all the gear, Ryan Humphries has got a bunch of stuff coming up from him, just a lot of fun stuff going on. So hopefully this recap was helpful. Hopefully getting to see what we're doing and why we're doing it is helpful. And if you've been with us for any amount of time, or you're a subscriber, I sincerely appreciate it. We enjoy what we do, and hopefully it helps you decide if this is the right gear for you, or and maybe you find this entertaining too. We try to keep this as human as possible. We're real people, and we're just dirtbags having fun. So I'm Sean Sewell, the owner and director of Stoke for Engearment.com. Hope you enjoy this podcast. Till next time, take care.